Hi everyone. Today we're gonna cover the topic of Milestone 2, which is the topic of test and analysis milestone. And the first we're gonna see is run this provision Jenkins.yaml, which is gonna create a remote droplet on Droplet Ocean and run the install a bunch of stuff, dependencies, and provision for the iTrust and checkbox these two application as we did in the first milestone. So basically, the thing you need to do is replace this the name of the SSH key as what you have in your account. So make sure the consistency between the name of your SSH keys. So that's basically it. So let's try run it. So Ansible playbook. The name of this file is provision Jenkins. Okay. So after basically like 10 minutes, allow this I know this script is gonna take a few minutes, and these are the result of the scripts. So as you can see here, we have finished all the installation, and you can see in the DigitalOcean, in the list of your droplets, you have the new remote server, and this is the IP address of your Jenkins dashboard. You can go to the 8000 port to check the the items of your tasks. And here we just want to manually trigger the iTrust the build task of the iTrust. So we schedule the build task. As you can see here, there's a build executor status, and we just wait for another few minutes to wait it for it to be finished. So here, the task of iTrust has the build of iTrust 2 has finished. If you click into this item, you can see it has already run a few test cases, and this is the code coverage. There's a list right in the right of the dashboard. And if you click into this coverage report, you can see this complete report generated by Jenkins plugin called Kobatura, and we use this along with Maven to generate the whole summary test report for the test cases and the packages. So the next step we are gonna do, we're gonna add a webhook into our Jenkins server, so that every time you commit to the branch of father, you'll trigger this build task. So we just the only thing that we're gonna do is copy this IP address and change this remote URL and click save. As you can see here, it will trigger a few remote tasks to run. And the next thing we'll do is we're gonna run this YAML file. It will basically it runs shell script which is called run further, and inside of which we have we're changing to this directory called further, which are gonna generate a series of further tests and configure our GitHub account. And we're just gonna try 20 times here for just a quick demo. And like I said before, every time we commit and push into this branch, we will trigger the build task in the remote on the Jenkins. So here we're gonna try to run it. Ansible playbook. As you can see here, during the process, we're committing each of the test cases, and one of each is triggering the remote build task, which is displayed here. So as you can see, some of them are pending and some of them are running. And so as you can see here, five tasks of our commit triggers have been finished, and you can see the trend here, in which the number two has 0 errors. And for a quick demo, we're just gonna show the first five of them, and we just need to modify the n number of them so that this fetch reports.yaml is gonna basically um, fetch the reports that are generated by each of the commits and put it in a local folder called results. And also it's gonna run a JavaScript script which is gonna parse the report of each of them and generate a final report. So let's try run them. Um, so as you can see here, we have fetched all five reports of the the test case reports, and in each of them we have an XML file indicating the build status, the test status, and the duration of each test cases. And after running this analysis.js, we have generated a final report. As you can see here, we have the number of the successes and the failures of each test cases and the accumulated duration of each test cases. So that's basically it.
The automated test generation section of Milestone 2. These are the steps that we're running in our Jenkins build to set up, to generate our tests and show coverage. First, we are copying a modified server.js file into the site folder. This modified server.js file uh, just enables Istanbul middleware so that we can check coverage of the checkbox app while it's running. So we can see the report on the 8002 port. Then after we are installing all the dependencies, we are starting server.js, and then in our test generation folder, we are running mockdata.js. Mockdata.js just creates some test data and inserts it into MongoDB so that we can maximize coverage. So here you can see some documents being created for the study collection and the votes collection, and then we're inserting all this into the database. Then we run node main.js to generate a test.js file, and then we run Istanbul cover test.js to see the coverage of all our tests. So let's go ahead and build checkbox. Here we can see the console output for our build. Yeah, we can actually, the test.js file has been created, so we can take a look at the file now. So these are all the tests that have been generated when we ran node main.js, and this is what we're running in Istanbul cover to see the coverage. So these are all the tests that were generated. So now that the build is completed and it's a success, we can check the coverage uh, on it's on 8002 port, and we can see that it has some very good coverage above 90%. So we can go into each folder and see that in markdown.js it's covered most of the statements and branches, and in the routes folder as well it's covered most files as well. Thank you for listening.